You'll look at that little ombre going down these currant tomatoes. That's one of my favorite things. So the point of the evening just came where literally the sun drops down behind the trees and it drops like 15 degrees outside. Like there's almost this almost coolish breeze. I'm not gonna call it a cool breeze, that would be untrue. It's still 85 degrees out here, but today was a hot day and it feels wonderful in the garden right now. Hey KG. Oh, you're not talking to me? He jumped in my lap and I was wearing shorts and I pushed him off my lap, so I thought he was mad. Now, I haven't shot a garden tour this week because I've been so busy. I actually was out of town last weekend, which you know. Several cool things have happened in the garden and I've not been able to get out here to show them all to you. So tomorrow is another really packed day. I'm hoping to do a garden tour on Saturday. I hope that I can work that out. But in case I don't get to show you this stuff like soon, I just want to show you some really cool stuff in the garden that's going on. Look at the banana tree transpiring, little guttation. Today was super hot and last night we got a lot of rain, so this plant is just letting off some excess moisture. Oh, you're not mad at me, are you? So my tomato plants are still holding out pretty well. As you can see, we've got some sickness. I've done a good bit of pruning. I've done the peroxide spray a handful of times, but this is actually not too bad. This is blight and maybe a little bit of septoria leaf spot. And I've told you guys before that we usually don't get to keep the tomatoes through July because of the humidity. We totally, like, usually they're just completely wiped out by the end of July. So we're a week into the month, a little over a week into the month, and I've still got a lot of fruit on the plants. They still look more healthy than unhealthy, and so I feel pretty okay about it. I don't love the way that they look. It just kind of is what it is. So obviously I have a good deal to harvest here. I've actually already got quite a lot harvested. This is not full. Do you see there's a basket in there? Today we actually had a photographer from 501 magazine out here, and we took a lot of photos with the kids, and we needed a basket full of tomatoes. It was funny because I actually had a basket that full day before yesterday where I picked that many tomatoes. It was a bushel basket full. But I put them in the freezer last night. We were kind of joking about staging that bountiful harvest. And the sweet writer of the article said, "It's not staging, it's reenactment." I was like, okay, I can live with that. This is still a lot of tomatoes. Here we go. And here is a real basket full of cucumbers from the kids' garden. Those are muncher cucumbers, quite a few of those. Another tomato in my fake full basket. Here's Lauren. Hi. We hang out on Thursdays, and we were actually going to do the photo shoot last night, but we had a golly washer, as we say around these parts. We had about 2 inches of rain in less than an hour. It was a ton of rain, and so we had to reschedule the photo shoot. Check out these climbing triple crops. Yeah, I picked some hornworms.
Did you? Okay.
I picked one today, but we probably get the black light out at them. It's in the greenhouse because I had it down here the other day. There's definitely damage. I picked a big fat daddy hornworm today.
Damage on this one too.
Yeah, I definitely see a good bit of hornworm damage.
Wow.
See how the leaves are completely stripped here. We had such a good time with the folks from 501 magazine. Donna is actually a writer for 501, and her family introduced her to us because her kids watch the channel, her son, and they have taken over their parents' backyard, done a beautiful garden. Inspired me so much. Joseph and I met at the plant sale, and he actually brought me this little gift that he made for me today. A little honey stick for my honey pot, which I absolutely adored that. So they really blessed me coming out here today and meeting us and featuring us in the magazine. Check this out. The snake beans, they have begun. Can y'all believe that? I have no idea when to harvest these. I think they get quite a bit bigger than that, but maybe not. So I'm just kind of waiting to see. These things are wild. The flowers are really neat. Now I also have some melon that is growing on this trellis as well that came back from last year. We had a banana melon. So this trellis has banana melons and snake beans. Here are the snake bean flowers. Aren't those really cool? They look like candy floss. This whole area is kind of a hot mess, but you know, what are you gonna do? Here's a big old Armenian. I'll pick that here in just a second and take it in with me. Look at the blossoms on that little bit of this Armenian cucumber vine. Isn't that crazy? Today we did something I promised you guys I would show you when we did this, and we're gonna go over and double check some other melons, but we tied up the melons today. We use these little plastic produce bags. I get them on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. There are other things that you can use if you want to avoid plastic. I bought these, I think, 2 years ago, and it was like a 500 pack for $10 or something like that. And so I'll be using them for some years. I still have a lot of them. And all I do is just put the melon in the bag loosely. You want to give it room to grow. And then you tie the bag to the trellis. And whenever melons are ready, the stem part, it typically dries up. These are watermelons, so that might be a little different. I know with the kajaris, they just fall off. And they'll just fall off into the bag, and they'll be swinging. You can just cut them off. Most of my huge tomatoes have ripened, and I probably won't get a whole lot more, but this plant here still has quite a few big ones on there. This one's just starting to blush. And I'm gonna harvest all of these off the climbing triple crop. I'll probably bring a kitchen scale out tomorrow. I'd like to get the overall weight for this plant. This is the one that Ben harvested my competition tomato too early, so I want to get a total weight for this entire plant. So I'm waiting to pick anything else till I have a scale. So my amaranths split yesterday in the really heavy rain. Actually, this one split pretty bad, the hot biscuits, and then this one split pretty bad too. I took a branch of this one and threw it into the chickens, hoping maybe they would pick at the grains, but they haven't, so that's a bummer. I watched a video from like 6 weeks ago. It just popped up and I was trying to remember something, so I went back to reference, because you know, when you have a YouTube channel, you just have a record of things you can go check on. And I was dumbfounded to see my garden 6 weeks ago. I was actually getting a little down on it a few days ago, thinking, man, this year has just been so hard. I've lost so many plants. I've lost so much fruit. And then seeing where it was 6 weeks ago and where it is now, it gave me a new appreciation for it. It really is so nice to be able to be outside in the garden right now, just period. It's wonderful. I want to make the most of it and not take it for granted. The one thing, as we were getting ready for the magazine, we actually got this space all prettied up. I brought some of my chicken decor from in the house out. We hung up some of the beautiful things that our sweet viewers have sent us. Look at this. Is that not absolutely gorgeous in here? That's wonderful. This one's handmade. And that one came off our wish list from Amazon. So pretty. And we've got another one over here, so you can see. And then of course this wind chime was one of the first things Maya bought for me when we moved onto this farm. It's all beat up, but it's sentimental. My little mom hung these up when she was out here last time. I thought that was so cute. She brought me some candles to put in them. There's the Titan sunflowers towering above us. That was the first one to bloom. Like, this one's grown like 3 feet taller just in the last couple weeks. The stalk of this thing is just massive. It's a sunflower tree. we just found some more ripe ground cherries. I thought they were all picked over. Now these are the Aunt Molly's. The other ones we have are pineapple. Right. Do they taste different to you?
Yeah, just a little bit. They're still sweet. They still taste like candy.
The pineapple, I think, may be a little more tropical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if I had to pick between the Aunt Molly's and the pineapple, I would pick the pineapple as well. They're just a little bit more sweet and tropical, but these are still really good. A garden skittle. Everybody that tastes them, they're like, that's so good. Someone tagged me on Facebook and they said that theirs were really bitter. I have no idea what would cause that, because all the ground cherries we've ever grown here have been really, really sweet. Now you have to make sure they're ripe first. If they're a little bit green left, they're not nearly as good.
I have gotten some where I've picked it a little too early and it was kind of bitter.
So that might be it. Maybe let it get a little more ripe. There's a random little basil sprout coming up. Purple basil. My nasturtiums are folding to the heat. Doesn't my little pavilion space look so cute? I love it. I told Sweet Maya we were going to have to come down here and have our Bible study and coffee in here in the morning. He said as long as we get out here before it's too hot. Okay, so here are the Kajari melons. We tied some of these up today too. And like, even if you're out here tying them, even like here, obviously this one's way too little to need support, but it'll grow, and it'll grow just fine in that bag. I think they got all of them. This one doesn't need to be supported because it's on the ground. Oh no, here's one. Good, I can show you guys. Okay, so here are my little baggy things. This is what's left on the 3rd year of tying up plants. I did the bright orange ones. I think they had other colors, but I did these because I liked being able to see them. It almost feels silly to show you guys this because it is super simple, but you know, sometimes it makes you feel a little more confident to do something having seen it done, so you know you're doing it the right way. So I'm just gonna take the melon and slip this bag over it. I usually try to work the melon down towards the bottom so that I can just have enough space. And take the top of the bag. They're really easy to tie. And tie a knot. Now that little dude can grow, and he's not going to fall off and split. Kajari melons are a little bit easier because they do turn orange when they ripen. So unlike some other melons that don't really change colors, it's easier to see, hey, that one's getting really near falling off. That way you don't accidentally have fruit sneak up on you and drop off without you being able to help it. It's a real bummer to come out to a beautifully ripe melon laying busted open on the ground with a bunch of ants in it. Ask me how I know. The thing is though, even with fruit that changes color, it's so easy to lose one in the foliage, and I like to just keep them tied up just in case. Yep. She's looking good. I stay out here until dark almost every night because once the temperature breaks and it feels this good out here, I just hate to go in because I sweat out here throughout the day, every day, so it's just nice for it to be in an enjoyable temperature. It smells so good.
Absolutely.
I literally wasn't even looking, and Lauren started touching the holy basil, and I could smell it from feet away because she was messing with it. Did you feel this catnip?
Yeah,
it's super soft.
Catnip's really soft.
I wanted to show you guys this really funky tomato. It was really cat-faced. I saw this out here the other day, and I waited to pick it till I had my camera. Look.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that funny?
The other one.
I know. It's an ugly little tomato, is it not? That's actually a blue beauty, and it didn't get very blue. It's got a gnat on it. Yeah, it didn't get super blue because it was down there underneath that foliage, but that was definitely a funky little dude. There's one more really cat-faced one.
This one over here?
Yeah.
That's
It
looks like multiple tomatoes hanging there at first.
Yeah, it's 4 that are fused together. And I saw it when it was like a little one, and you could really see how clearly it was 4 tomatoes. No, I think I might have found this one at blossom stage. And I just looked at it and I thought, I'm gonna let it go. I just need to know what happens here. It is a really, really gnarly tomato. Look at it. It is fascinating. For those of you that don't know, this happening, this is a severe case, and so is that other one. This is called cat facing. It's something typical of heirloom tomatoes. Whenever you see them and they're funky and ugly, it's called cat facing, and it's because their blossoms will sometimes grow in fused. It's called fasciation, and that produces that. Now, when I see those big, funky, huge fused blossoms, I usually pick them because so often fused tomatoes, they're not super edible. These little pockets can turn rotty and weird, but occasionally they're interesting to let grow. You get some monster tomatoes sometimes. My friend Amanda today sent me a picture of a 2-pound 7-ounce tomato, and I was like, you should have joined the tomato grow off. That is a monster. Here's some other examples of cat facing. That's a cat-faced one right there. You can see that spot. It's probably fine, but you know, sometimes those pockets, they get yucky. Here, my Black Beauty plant is a little sickly, but it's got a lot of fruit on it. They're really pretty and dark. And it had a big cat-faced one, but it had to come off. Those are cat-faced, but they're doing okay. Look how pretty those are, so dark. Well, guys, I am out of light. All right, well, we are going to head inside, get the kids in bed, and hang out for a little bit. Maybe drink some night coffee.
Eat some tomatoes.
Yeah, eat some tomatoes. I have a few. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Did I say that right? Yes.
Yeah. Until then.
Until next time. We bless you.
We bless you.
We bless you. Do you want to? Oh, do you want to? My precious. Can you fix that camera?